Welcome back to Real Estate Simplified. Sarah, one of the things I always say is whenever there's fear and uncertainty, there's opportunity. So is now a great time for somebody to start building their real estate portfolio?
I think there's opportunity in up markets and in down markets and in the entire cycle. It's just a matter of what. And I think part of the opportunity and part of the reason that people are going to be successful in any market is that they're going to buy with some cash flow. So they're not going to have a tenant that is not going to cover all their bills and their maintenance. Like, it's important to include all of those things so that you can take the piece of property and hold it for the long term. There is success in holding. There's wealth in the long term play, in the long term, buy and hold strategy. You could do the BRRRR and you can hold. I think, would I buy something right now? Potentially, if it still meets my criteria for the cash flow. But I also think that there's going to be some great things in 4 to 6 months. There's going to be some great things in 2 years from now. I think part of it is there's going to be less battling for the same pieces of property. There's, back in January and February, we were making offers with 20 other investors that are trying to bid up the property. And so I think there's going to be less of that. There's going to be people waiting on the sidelines. If somebody's, doesn't have a current income, well, they're probably not going to be able to afford to add something else to their portfolio. If somebody is having a tenant that is not paying, or they've deferred their mortgage payments, I'm not deferring my mortgage payments. I don't need to, but I don't know if I would recommend it unless you have to, because here's the thing. If you're going to be buying a piece of property and you've deferred your mortgage payments with RBC or Scotia or whoever it was, they're probably going to look at that and say, you know what, you're probably not eligible to buy another piece of property. That's just my guess. So is there an opportunity right now? Sure, absolutely. There can be opportunities in everything. I don't think I would necessarily go out and buy the first thing that you see, but there is going to be some opportunity, I think, to negotiate with some motivated sellers, where in the past you had to be quick and do cash offers to get anything.
Yeah. And Ryan, you work with a lot of real estate investors. Are you finding people are keeping some dry powder, or what are you seeing them doing?
Yeah, no, I would echo a lot what Sarah just said there. I mean, there's opportunity. There's always opportunity in any situation. That's really just what challenges are. They're just opportunities we haven't fully discovered yet and processed, right? At the end of the day, I think right now there's two main things that we're kind of saying to our real estate investors about this question of, like, is now a good time for me to do my first deal, or do five deals to double up on my 5 I already have. Like, what should I be doing? I mean, the main thing is, now more than ever, it's really important to do your due diligence. Really, not only do your own job really well, and really examine the opportunity and the details of the opportunity, but really be connected with your power team, your lawyer, your accountant, your financial advisor about the mortgage, because that's really the one. Those are some huge things that people are going to be looking at. Is like, okay, so do you have a job? What kind of job do you have? Have you deferred your payments, like Sarah was saying, on your personal mortgages or any of your other mortgages? All these things are going to be more heavily scrutinized, is what I'm hearing from, and are being more heavily scrutinized by the banks, according to a lot of the mortgage brokers we work with. So doing your due diligence, even more so with your power team. And I think, like Sarah said, I think there's a great opportunity here. It's no different than people. We had some clients refinance their property to buy in the stock market because they wanted to get a couple extra $100,000 into the market and buy stocks low, so that they know when the market does rebound and it does go up, well, they'll sell. And it's the old buy low, sell high. I think you might have a similar opportunity here if you're a real estate investor. You won't have as many people out there bidding you up or trying to knock you out on a deal that you find attractive that you want to get. But B, you might get a seller. I mean, if they got a property listed in this environment, they have a reason for that. Like, they are obviously motivated to sell. So for them, they want to sell. And I'm not saying that you're gonna get it for a steal or anything. You might, but you certainly probably have a bit more leverage because there's just that fewer number of buyers. So I think there's a real opportunity for buyers for the first time in some time, whether it's a personal residence that you're trying to buy just for yourself, or it's an investment opportunity to build up your portfolio. I think it's a great opportunity. It's a great time to try to buy. If, as Sarah said, all the criteria are there for it to meet your usual due diligence to strike a deal, to want to close on it, then why not? Like you said, you're probably going to get it for a bit better than you would if COVID didn't happen, because the market was shaping up to be a real bear. So it was probably going to be a lot of competitive offers and that kind of thing, and sellers were going to have a heyday. So for a buyer, it's potentially really great.
Yeah. And Sarah, this goes to speak towards long-term and short-term thinking in real estate. 5-10 years from now, this will just be a blip. So how important is thinking about the long-term strategy when buying real estate?
I mean, that's all I would think of personally. Even 5 to 7 years, which I would consider shorter term. So if I'm doing something and I have essentially my nest egg properties, and I have some other properties that I might buy with a JV as an example, or something with a shorter exit, but I'm always going to have that long-term nest egg, because when you look at people that have truly built wealth, it's not because in a year from now they bought something and they got rich, right? Like you can't do one flip and get rich. You got to keep going, and the flips are going to give you quick cash, but your money needs to make money in the long term, rather than you putting in the actual labor work or the time. So how do you make that money create money? And that really only happens over a long period of time. So when I look at a piece of property, is it going to fit in my portfolio for that 5 to 7 year mark, which to me is short term, short to medium, or is it going to be something that I can hang on to, pay it off, and is it going to generate that entire, gross income minus taxes and everything like that? Because that's essentially how people get wealthy in real estate investing. Once they're paid down and they're generating that income, and then they can hang out at the cottage, and it's not about always doing the transactions of, a short-term type of strategy.
Yeah. And that's coming from somebody who is at her cottage right now.
I am at my cottage right now. I am looking at the water.
Oh, well, that was some great advice. So Sarah, Ryan, thanks so much for joining us today on Real Estate Simplified.